I still remember the first morning I stood beside this river, knowing it's... We mapped the crossing point where the current was strongest, because strength meant stability if we built correctly. Every stake. We measured depth after depth, learning the river's secrets, one breath at a time. When we found bedrock beneath the clay, I felt relief surge through me. A bridge enduring floods needed nothing less than the Earth's own spine. These first stakes were not structural, but they defined everything that followed. Accuracy here meant survival later. We aligned the bridge slightly upstream, letting future floods press against its piers in a way that strengthened, not weakened them.
We needed timber stronger than any found nearby, so we hauled it from distant forests. Flood-resistant building began with choosing what would not rot.
We shaped each log with care, knowing they would soon battle mud, silt, and roaring currents. The cofferdam was our shield, keeping the river at bay while we carved foundations in its heart. Driving posts into a river fighting back felt like defying nature. But each post meant progress. Bracing locked the frame together, forming a wooden fortress against the swirling current. We sealed every gap with clay, forcing the river to flow around us, not through us. When the water fell, revealing the riverbed, it felt like uncovering a hidden world. We cleared silt quickly before the river tried to reclaim it. Speed was our only defense. A level base meant stable foundations. Without it, floods would tear the bridge apart.
Setting the first stones felt like planting roots into the river's spine. Each one had to lock perfectly, or the floodwaters would find their weakness.
We adjusted every stone beneath the alignment cords, ensuring the pier would rise straight despite the river's pressure.
Gravel locked the stones together like a million tiny wedges, making it harder for water to pry them apart. We added lime mortar only where necessary, letting stone weight do most of the work. Mortar strengthened, but gravity was our greatest ally.
With each layer, I felt the river challenge us less. The pier began to claim its place above the water. The scaffold grew with our progress, becoming the bones that held us steady as we shaped the bridge's heart. I checked every edge myself, searching for even the slightest shift. Floods would strike from all sides.
These larger stones formed the pier's core, their weight pressing downward with unyielding resolve.
We drove wedges in to eliminate movement. A motionless pier meant centuries of survival. The moment the pier rose beyond the waterline, I felt our victory begin. From here, the river would strike lower than our stones. We watched for leaks constantly. A breach could drown weeks of work in a single moment.
I ordered more planks inside the dam, not out of fear, but respect. The river was patient, and patience could break anything.
We reached the pier's full height, the point from which our arches would leap across the water.
These wooden forms would support the stone arch until it locked itself. Without them, the arch could never rise.
Foisting the centering felt like raising a promise. Once it stood firm, we could begin shaping the arch's curve. We braced every beam so no tremor or wind could shift it. Precision here meant the arch would land perfectly. I watched the first arch stone slide into place, feeling the bridge truly begin to take its form. Each stone leaned against its neighbor, all depending on the next, just as we depended on each other. We tapped each stone until the curve flowed smooth and true. Even the smallest misalignment could become a crack decades later. The keystone was the heart of the arch, the piece that would bind all others and defy the river's fury. When the keystone slid home, the entire arch awakened, its strength shifting from wood to stone forever. Removing the wedges tested our craftsmanship. If the arch held, we had done our work well. The arch did not tremble.
Seeing it stand alone gave me the certainty that this bridge could defy generations of storms. We repeated every step for the next pier, knowing the bridge's strength came from unity, not just a single arch. As more arches rose, the bridge stretched across the water like a stone spine. I began to see how it would endure the floods to come. The central span carried the greatest burden, so every timber, every joint, demanded double care.
We strengthened the centering so it would not shift, even under the weight of the final stones.
These stones were heavier than any before, but the river's fury demanded we make the center unbreakable.
Every stone leaned toward the next, each relying on its neighbor to resist the river below.
We worked slowly up here, where wind tugged at robes, and the view reminded us of the height we'd earned. This keystone would bind the entire bridge together. I studied it many times, trusting its perfection.
When it settled, the arch felt alive, its strength spreading outward like ripples on water.
Lowering the supports was the final test. The arch stood firm, answering every doubt we had carried. With the arches complete, the bridge began to resemble the vision that had lived only in drawings. The deck began with a bedding of crushed stone, giving the heavier slabs something firm to rest upon.
Each deck slab added weight that tightened the arches below, channeling their strength downward into the piers. We shaped the edges to guide rainwater, keeping it from weakening the arches beneath.
Flood resistance began here, with channels that carried water away before it could seep into cracks.
Parapets protected travelers, but they also shielded the deck from wind-driven rain. We shaped the deck with a gentle crown, so water would always run outward, never inward. Seeing the deck stretch unbroken across the river filled me with pride. The bridge now stood as a single body.
We shaped the piers to split the current, letting the river's force slide around rather than strike directly.
Downstream, buttresses softened the pull of retreating water during floods, preserving the pier's footing.
We packed gravel tightly so water could flow freely without scouring away the soil supporting the piers. Removing the cofferdams revealed our work to the river for the first time. I felt both pride and tension as the water returned.
The water flowed around the piers just as we planned, searching for weakness but finding none. I studied every swirl and eddy, knowing early signs of erosion could save years of future repair. Seeing the arches stand alone in the river made me trust that they would outlast storms far greater than any we had seen.
We straightened every stone so nothing would disrupt the flow of water or travelers across the span.
We polished the walkway so wagon wheels would travel easily, preventing ruts that could trap water. We filled every narrow space, denying water a single path into the heart of the bridge. When the water ran exactly where we intended, I knew the floods would find no purchase here.
The river tested our work every moment, and I watched with a craftsman's vigilance.
I crossed the bridge with steady steps, feeling the hidden strength beneath my feet. Flood season approached, and everything we had built would soon face its first true trial.
Day by day, the river climbed, its calm surface tightening into restless motion. I knew this was only the beginning. The cutwaters sliced the current just as we designed, sending the force sliding away instead of crashing head-on.
Floods begin with debris, but the angled stones deflected it easily. Nothing caught, nothing held.
The wind strengthened first, carrying the scent of distant storms. We braced ourselves for what the sky would send. Rain came gently at first, and the channels carried it away just as we hoped.
I checked the gravel beds and saw no signs of scouring. That small detail eased a great weight on my mind.
Patterns told me everything. A steady current meant stability. Chaos showed weakness. Today, the river still flowed with purpose. We said little, but every man understood the river's power. We had built well, yet nature always had the final word. The storm bared its teeth, but the bridge answered with silence, its weight speaking on our behalf.
Watch the tension on that line. Guide it down slowly. We need it flush against the last block.
All right, men, heave. Pull together now. Watch the ropes on the left.
As the water receded, our work began to reappear, untouched by the river's wrath.
I found the gravel still tight and unmoved, as if the storm had not existed at all. No puddles gathered, no cracks showed. Our work had proven itself where many others had failed.
With sunrise came a gentle silence. The bridge greeted the day as if nothing had happened.
The river returned to its steady rhythm, though now it flowed more respectfully around our creation.
We walked the span together, and each man saw what we had accomplished. The storm had left the bridge unchanged.
Every joint remained tight. The keystones had done their work, binding the bridge into a single united body. As we removed the scaffold, the bridge revealed its true form, elegant, unyielding, ready for centuries. In surviving its first flood, the bridge proved it could outlast many more. And in that moment, with the scaffolding gone, the bridge finally stood in its purest form, nothing left but stone, sky, and river. We smoothed the pier faces so floods would glide along them without catching or tearing at the edges. We coated the stones to repel water, giving the bridge one more layer of defense against the river's long memory.
After the storm, the stones had settled even tighter. The river had tested them, and the arch had answered.
We strengthened the banks to prevent erosion, ensuring the river would not creep behind our work.
We shaped the approach paths so travelers could reach the bridge safely, even in heavy rains.
I checked every channel one last time. If water could not linger, neither could time's slow decay.
We tested the deck with weight, listening for any sound beneath the stones. The bridge remained silent, as if proud of its strength.
The parapets stood secure, guarding the edges without shifting a finger's breadth.
The central arch accepted the load with ease, its curve tightening as we designed.
We gathered together for a quiet moment, knowing we had shaped something greater than ourselves.
Tools left the bridge. Only our labor remained, set into stone for generations to walk upon.
I walked the span one final time, feeling the river's breath rising from below, steady and calm.
The river spoke in whispers again. honoring the shape we had taught it.
Farmers were the first to cross, their wheels rolling smoothly where none had passed before.
When soldiers followed, I saw the bridge accept their weight as easily as the river accepted the dawn.
Even children dared to run across, trusting the stones beneath them without hesitation. From the water's center, the symmetry of the arches revealed the careful balance we had carved from chaos.
Season after season, the bridge remained unchanged, embracing the rhythm of the year. People came to rely on the bridge, its presence turning a once dangerous crossing into a simple journey.
Weather softened the stone but never weakened it, for each block locked the next into purpose.
Whether calm or swollen, the river respected the bridge's design, flowing precisely as we intended. A smaller flood came, offering another test, though I no longer felt the same fear.
The current parted cleanly again, gliding along the shapes we had carved with such care.
The clouds threatened, but the wind carried no fury. I sensed the bridge would barely notice this storm.
Rainwater fled along the channels as if guided by instinct, flowing harmlessly over the edge.
The arches remained serene, their curves shedding stress the way the sky shed its rain.
When the storm passed, the bridge looked unchanged, as though the river's challenge had been nothing but a polite gesture. I stood where I had once worried, now seeing the river as a partner rather than an enemy.
At sunset, the bridge glowed like living bronze, its stones catching every last trace of daylight. In the quiet of night, the bridge seemed eternal, whispering its confidence to the river below. The river learned the path the bridge offered, choosing to flow around it rather than fight. Years passed, and the bridge remained unbroken. Time itself only softened its beauty.
I walked it often, each step reminding me of the river we had tamed and the craft we had mastered.
Long after our tools rusted and our names faded, the bridge remained, a testament carved in stone.
I built it to survive the river's wrath, but it survived so much more. It became a promise kept across generations.
Pull, move forward now. Come on, slowly.